Hello all, my name is Cody Kimball, and I'm going to be discussing spatial and climate variations in the survival of the genus Accipiter in North America for my capstone project 590 and 560. To begin, we'll look at an introduction or a bit of background information. The introductory information includes both past research and the current scope for this project. As far as past research, research in a minimal capacity has been done on climate effects in regards to birds of prey, particularly as seen in North America. Some of this has been done in Europe with and including species of the same genus, Accipiter. The gaps in knowledge of survival of some species within our study may create difficulties. This is particularly for the sharp-shinned hawk. However, data may be able to be substituted for the Puerto Rican sharp-shinned hawk, a subspecies native to the island of Puerto Rico. Major climate events such as La Nina and El Nino have shown negative impacts on nest success in Cooper's hawks in Florida, and prey survival is one of the number one drivers for predator survival through bottom-up methods of trophic cascades. And past research has shown damages to passerine populations secondary to climate change, potentially harming accipiter populations as they are primarily avian predators. The current scope of our project is to focus on our research to better understand long-term survival trends in accipiters in North America, determine years of significant change in both climate and survival to find possible correlations, find spatial patterns in mortality through mapping data, and correlate local climate or other varied information in locations of significant mortality based off the aforementioned mapping. Looking into our methods, our methodology for survival will be utilizing banding data for the bird banding laboratory through the USGS, and we will perform a standard S and F format mortality analysis with the selected data to determine survival rates among the populations of accipiters in North America. Following this, survival will be analyzed with a monotonic trend analysis to determine significant years of change or shift in survival. For climate, we will be analyzed similar to that of survival. Data will be summarized and put through that monotonic trend analysis to find significant years of change for temperature and possibly rainfall as well, if necessary. Climate will then be compared to survival to find if significant years of change correlate to shifts in survival. Mapping, mortality events will be mapped to find patterns in mortality on individual species at a genus level as a whole. This will be used to determine if local influences may or may not be represented on a continental scale, so that local analysis can be performed if necessary. This is an example of a monotonic trend analysis for reservoirs in Missouri, showing breakpoints within those analyses. This was done by myself, Kimball et al., 2017. Here's an example of what mapping data may look like. This one is also mortality, unfortunately showing deaths for humans secondary to lightning strikes, but is representative of what we may be producing for our project as well. As far as results, we need to look at our expectations and our expected outcomes. For survival, we expect that not all years will qualify for analysis, so said years will not be included within the results section, but we also expect an overall decline or increased mortality over time. But do not expect that to necessarily hold true for all species of accipiter, i.e. sharpshins or coopers, as they adapt well to changing landscapes and climate better than others such as the northern goshawk. As far as climate, without final data, making assumptions on climate is difficult. We do know that it is progressively shifting over time, and when compared to survival, some events or overall trends, including breakpoints, will likely correlate with changes in survival. An example of this is the reduction in survival noted by Millsap et al. 2013, showing El Nino events causing a reduction in overall survival of Cooper's hawks. This could be an individual year of significance in survival or possibly correlate with the breakpoint. As far as mapping, it is difficult to determine final outcomes for mapping before the final analysis is complete, as otherwise we cannot know exactly where mortalities occur. That said, we are likely to notice a discrepancy of encounters for mortality as historical precedence has shown a 2 times greater rate of encounters in urban versus exurban areas. Next, we're moving on to my partnership. My partner is Dr. Nate Bickford, pictured here on the right-hand side, holding an accipiter, the northern goshawk. A little bit of information background about him. He is a teaching professor both through Unity College and University of Colorado Pueblo. And we have discussed deliverables of predominantly a poster quality to be presented in a professional conference and a recorded video presentation of master's work quality and detail discussing the project as a whole. Okay, next, this is just a bunch of my references, and if you have any questions, please let me know. That's everything for today. Bye-bye.